Good news for anyone who has spent a frustrating amount of time arguing with airline customer service to get their money back when their flight was canceled or luggage delayed. The Department of Transportation announced new rules Wednesday requiring airlines to issue automatic cash refunds for flight cancellations or delays, delayed baggage returns, and services like Wi-Fi or seat selection that are paid for but then not provided. The new industry-wide set of standards will also force airlines to disclose so-called junk fees, like added costs for carry-ons or changing a reservation. The Department of Transportation says it could save flyers about $500 million a year. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg joins me now from the very sunny outside of the White House. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being with us. Implicit in these new rules is the idea that airlines kind of have to be wrestled into treating their customers fairly. Why don't they do that in the first place?
Well, they should have been doing this all along, but now we're going to take the haggling out, we're going to take the process out and make it automatic. If you have a situation, for example, where your flight gets canceled or gets delayed for more than 3 hours, you don't have to ask for a refund. It will come to you automatically by default. If you paid with a credit card, they have 7 days to put it back on your credit card. We've heard far too many stories of people who really have to jump through hoops to get their refund, or the airline offers them some voucher or miles worth a fraction of what they're actually owed. We're changing that, and it's going to make flying a better experience. And I think it's even going to change airlines' behavior because they are going to know that if they fail to invest or are serving unrealistic schedules and a flight gets canceled, that they can expect everybody on that flight to be getting their money back.
In your dealings with the airlines, give me a sense of their reluctance, because a lot of people can expect they might make lots of other kinds of offers instead of cash and maybe not follow through with these rules.
Well, that's exactly why we have these rules. Look, if you proactively choose as a passenger, you say, I'd rather take a voucher, rather take the miles, fine. But what's happening right now is it's the reverse. A lot of passengers aren't proactively told that they're entitled to a cash refund before they accept something else. Same thing with these ancillary fees. If you pay for baggage and the baggage doesn't get there, you ought to get your money back. Same thing with Wi-Fi. And this just clears all of that up. The airlines have not exactly embraced our tougher stance in terms of consumer protection, but my message to them is that this will actually make the airline sector better off. And the reason I believe that is with these kinds of protections and this kind of transparency, people will have more confidence in the airline sector and be more comfortable buying an airline ticket. When that happens, when they buy a ticket knowing that they're going to get better service, I really think everybody's going to be better off.
Did the airlines ever play the safety card? They say there's a lot of concerns about safety. You're going to be hitting our bottom line. We can't do both.
Look, it is not only possible but necessary to take good care of passengers and also serve them safely. Safety is the foundational mission of our department. It's why the FAA has been putting Boeing under a microscope. And together, we have achieved an extraordinary safety record, which we're fighting hard to maintain. But there's no reason why there is any detriment to safety from taking good care of passengers by doing things like giving them their money back if you didn't provide the service that they paid you for.
I want to switch now to talk about the Baltimore bridge collapse. Congress has to fund this in some fashion, don't they? And how's that going? And have you been engaged in conversations with members of Congress about doing all that it can to appropriate the necessary money?
We have. I sat with a bipartisan delegation, all of the members of the House and Senate from Maryland. They were convened by the senior senator, Ben Cardin. Governor Moore was there, as well as the administration. We talked through what it's going to take to get Maryland what they need. There is already legislation pending to make it possible for them to have 100% share covered, which is more than the norm and what the president committed. And I really believe that we can, should, and I hope will see bipartisan support for this. And my message to any member from either party, from any part of the country, is this may be Baltimore today, but it could be your district tomorrow. America is always at its best when we pull together and help any part of our country that's hurting.
Let me ask you about that high-speed rail that you broke ground on Monday. We are in the season of people going on vacation to other parts of the world, and they will all return and say, why don't we have a rail system like that? What's the answer to that?
Well, the simple answer is you get what you pay for. And yeah, a lot of us have had that experience. I was in Japan for the G7 meeting of transportation ministers last year. And after riding that bullet train to the venue for the summit, came back like so many travelers have, thinking, why can't we have nice things? But now we're finally changing that. As you know, President Biden is a big believer in passenger rail. So am I. And that's gone to everything from shoring up the Northeast Corridor and making sure 100-year-old bridges get replaced that serve Amtrak to brand new visions like this Las Vegas to Southern California route, which plans to be open by the end of 2028. So this is not a pie-in-the-sky vision. This is something that is now literally in the works. And I think that once we finally get this done, it won't be people coming back from Japan saying, why can't we have this? It'll be people from around the U.S. getting back from Vegas saying, wow, we ought to have this in the Midwest. We ought to have this in the Northwest. We ought to have this in Texas or wherever they live. And I really think there's going to be no going back for America once Americans have seen true high-speed rail on U.S. soil.
What happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. Let me ask you finally about something a little outside of your lane, but not exactly. You wrote a book on restoring trust in political institutions. And I think you even taught a college class on the topic. There is a massive lack of trust on college campuses, some of them anyway, right now in these debates over the situation in Gaza. Students don't trust administrators to protect their right to free speech. Others don't trust the administrators to protect their basic safety. Where do they find the balance here?
Well, so many people are coming to this from a place of pain, anguish, agony over the destruction and the loss of life that we have seen in Gaza, that we saw on October 7th. And so many people speaking out about that are exercising their First Amendment rights. When you see something unsafe, that's very different. Any kind of harassment, any kind of intimidation, that is very different from the legitimate expression of First Amendment rights. And obviously universities, communities are navigating that right now. The bottom line is everybody deserves to be heard and everybody deserves to be safe. And in our piece of the puzzle, when it comes to building trust in institutions at the Department of Transportation, the best thing we can do is make sure that government is delivering for people in terms of safety, in terms of infrastructure. I think that's our part of the puzzle on how we at the DOT can make our small contribution to restoring public trust in America's institutions.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, thanks so much.
Thank you.